TV in Reno. You're watching 2 News at 4:30.
All candidates go on one ballot, and all voters get to vote. It's a pretty simple process.
A bill in the state Senate would change Nevada's primary election, allowing people to vote for every candidate, regardless of their party affiliation. Coverage of the 2021 legislative session tops 2 News at 4:30. Now, if Senate Bill 121 passes, every race would be similar to our nonpartisan contests. I'm Ariana Bennett.
And I'm Kristen Remington. Thank you for keeping it here with us. The move would allow nonpartisans to vote in partisan races. Paul Nelson joins us live at the Legislative Building this afternoon. Paul, why is the bill's sponsor pushing for this change?
Well, Kristen, almost a third of Nevada's voters don't belong to a major political party, so they don't get to nominate candidates for some of our state's biggest races. We're talking Congress, governor, and other statewide races. This bill would change that.
Nevada holds a primary election every other spring. Every eligible voter can participate, but nonpartisans don't get to vote for partisan races.
In reality, closed primaries are the biggest voter suppression mechanism in this state. And if we continue down this process, more and more people will become disenfranchised and become disillusioned with our electoral process.
More than 500,000 active voters in Nevada are nonpartisan. That's nearly 1/3 of the electorate.
It's their choice, but in doing so, they make a huge sacrifice, which means that they don't get to vote in our closed partisan primaries.
Keffer says holding an open primary will allow all voters to select our leaders early in the process.
The primaries decide, in the vast majority of races, who represents them in their government. And frankly, voters shouldn't have to join some private club to have a voice in their government and get the right to vote.
The move would also allow Republicans and Democrats to participate in the opposition party's primaries.
These are primaries that focus on political parties. This changes it to a primary that focuses on the voters.
He says getting enough lawmakers on board could be challenging. After all, they all got elected under the current system.
In most of these legislative races, the only people we have to answer to in order to get elected again is the base of our own party. And that's not a good system to bring people together and to solve problems.
SB 121 would make the entire primary like local races. Everyone gets to vote, and the top 2 candidates move on to the general election.
This opens up our primaries to all voters and puts the power back in the hands of people rather than parties.
This bill does not include presidential nominations. Right now, Nevada is a caucus state, but there is a bill on the table that would switch us to having primary elections. Keffer says he does support that idea. Covering the 2021 legislature live in Carson City, Paul Nelson, 2 News.